A very good afternoon to you and welcome to Lunchtime News. You're with me, Stephanie Lazarus. Before we go into your stories in detail, let's take a look at the headlines. Over 100 people admitted to the Dikkoe hospital with food poisoning. Raids initiated to uncover wireless fixed telephones smuggled into the country. And on international news, Norway's centre-right wins general election. Now, stories in detail. 100 persons have been admitted to the Dikkoe hospital as a result of food poisoning.
The medical superintendent of the Dikkoe hospital, Nihal Vijaysurya, said that 31 individuals, including women and children, are receiving in-house treatment. The patients are said to have contracted food poisoning after consuming food served at a religious function in Dikkoe.
Senior Minister Duwe Gunasekara said that the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, Navanithan Pillai, spoke to him in a commendable manner on the rehabilitation of former LTTE cadres. He expressed these views at a ceremony held in Vaunia yesterday to release a group of rehabilitated former LTTE cadres.
107 rehabilitated former LTTE members were reunited with their families at an event held at the Cultural Centre in Vaunia.
The UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Navi Pillai, met me and inquired about these matters as I was a former minister. She and her representative stated that we have carried out the rehabilitation process very well. Everybody will agree that the amount invested by the government in the last 4 years for the development of the North and East is more than what any other government had spent in the last 60 years since 1948.
Now moving on to one of our headline-making stories, an extensive raid was carried out by the Telecommunication Regulatory Commission of Sri Lanka to nab those who sell wireless phones with an 800 MHz frequency band.
The Director General of the Commission, Anusha Palpita, said that raids were conducted by 15 teams from the police and the Telecommunication Regulatory Commission. According to Palpita, these phones in question have been imported to Sri Lanka without the permission from the Telecommunication Regulatory Commission. He said that the use of such phone interrupt the frequencies of mobile phone operators in the island.
The Customs Department has taken into custody a stock of cigarettes that had been smuggled into the country. The stock of cigarettes has been valued at 3,130,000 rupees.
The Department of Customs seized a stock of cigarettes at around 5 this morning. 125,000 cigarettes have been seized. Customs spokesperson Leslie Garmani noted that the stock of cigarettes have been found inside the travelling bags of 3 Sri Lankans that arrived from Dubai.
The leader of the Democratic Party, Sat Fonseca, says that in comparison with the development of other nations, Sri Lanka continues to fall behind. He made this statement in an event held in Kurunegala yesterday.
This function was held in the Kataputtu area in Kurunegala yesterday. 98% of the population have had their hopes dashed and are working in a future that is uncertain. Our country continues to deteriorate and is falling apart in terms of democracy, human rights, the right of speech, the fairness, justice shown to the public, education and health. No matter how much our politicians talk about projects, there is no point when Sri Lanka has not developed in comparison to other nations.
The Department of Railways is to introduce a special train service on the main road. Controller of Railways, Nihal Fernandez, stated that the train will ply from Fort to Mirigama.
The train services will leave Colombo Fort at 9:30 am and reach Mirigama by 10:50 am. The railway control room stated that an air-conditioned power set has also been installed. Meanwhile, the railway department has planned to introduce 3 trains to ply to Trincomalee daily commencing from the 15th of this month.
The flow of traffic on the Norton Bridge, Muskelly Road in Tibetan near the 5th milepost has been obstructed as a result of a fallen tree branch.
A branch from a Mara tree on the roadside had fallen onto the road. The police media spokesperson office has requested motorists to use alternative routes. The police say that vehicles can enter the Muskelly town via Hatton by travelling from Ginigathena to Diagala.
A soil excavator which was being transported on a lorry toppled in the Galle town centre at around 6:30 this morning.
Our reporter says that the flow of traffic was disrupted as the excavator had fallen across the main road. The police took steps to divert traffic onto alternate routes. Our reporter says that the excavator was removed at about 9 o'clock this morning.
The deadline for the issuing of temporary identification cards for the provincial council elections has been extended to the 15th of September. Deputy Elections Commissioner M. Mohammed said that the deadline for issuing temporary identification was to expire today.
ඉදිරි පළාත් සභා ඡන්ද විමසීමට අදාළව මැතිවරණ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව විසින් නිකුත් කරනු ලබන తాවකාලික හැඳුනුම්පත්.
Although the deadline for issuing temporary identification cards was to expire today, it has now been extended to the 15th of September on a request made by the candidates to the provincial council polls, election monitors and the general public.
ඉල්ලීම සැලකිල්ලට ගනිමින් එම දිනය ලබන 15 වෙනිදා සිට දීර්ඝ කිරීමට මැතිවරණ කොමසාරිස් මහින්ද දේශප්‍රිය මහතා තීරණය කරලා තිබේ.
The Department of Meteorology states that intermittent showers can be expected in the western, Sabaragama, central, north and northwestern provinces during the course of the day. Due to meteorologist Pabodhini Karnapala explains.
Several spells of showers will occur in the western, southern, Sabaragamu, central, northern and northwestern provinces. Showers or thundershowers will develop at several places elsewhere during the afternoon, and there may be temporary localized strong winds during the showers. General public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize the damages caused by lightning activities.
Today marks World Suicide Prevention Day. The theme for this year is Stigma, a major barrier to suicide prevention. It is estimated that 3,500 Sri Lankans committed suicide last year. In lieu of World Suicide Prevention Day, let's take a look at the thoughts of American playwright Harvey Fierstein on the value of life.
Never be bullied into silence. Never allow yourself to be made a victim. Accept no one's definition of your life. Define yourself. Harvey Fierstein.
Taking a look at one of our local stories, the Department of National Archives are requesting all parties and candidates who are participating for the upcoming provincial council elections to submit a document consisting the policies and announcements of the party. The Department of National Archives said that in any election may be form a certain political faction or independent are bound to provide the policies and announcements to the department within 30 days since making these policies and announcements public. The Department of National Archives have a large collection of election documents since the 1930s. The department said that these documents are utilized as study material and as reference or backup material for candidates if needed in the future. With that, we wrap up Lunchtime News. Join us again at 1:55 for the very latest.